This is more Doug DeMuro, and today we are going to talk about the craziest luxury car features. I recently reviewed a Maybach 62, which had insane features, and that got me thinking, what were the craziest features I've ever seen in a luxury car that I've reviewed? And so I decided I'd make a video on that, and so I listed the top 14, because those are the 14 crazy ones really came to mind. So let's talk it over, the craziest luxury car features. Before I get started, be sure to check out Cars and Bids, which is my enthusiast car auction website for cool cars from the modern era. We've had some amazing sales recently on Cars and Bids, including this 2012 Aston Martin V8 Vantage beautiful car sold for just over $50,000, this gorgeous BMW M2 Competition, which sold for just under $50,000, and this 2006 Lexus LX 470 sold for $62,500. A recent record for this model, and an amazing car. If you're looking to sell your cool car from the modern era, Cars and Bids is the place to do it. And if you're looking to buy a cool modern enthusiast car, we have amazing selection in daily auctions only at Cars and Bids. Okay, now before I get started, I want to make one point clear. I am not talking about the craziest luxury car quirks. Maybe that's a different video. These are specifically like features, not like weird things, why did they do that, but like features, like wow, this is luxurious and nice. And so let's get started. Number 14, craziest luxury car feature, Mercedes-Benz S500 parking rods. In the days before parking sensors, this S-Class had these rods that would stick up when you put the car in reverse. They would go up automatically so you could tell how far back your car went, which the theory was they would help you with parking. Mercedes obviously later invested in actual parking sensors, which would do a much better job with this, and we have cameras now, whatever, but the predecessor to all this parking technology were these rods that would stick up out of the trunk. Absolutely bizarre feature. Next up, number 13 craziest luxury car feature, that would be the Audi S8 rising up to greet you. So the new S8, you walk up to it, open the door, and the car instantaneously lifts itself up to make it easier to get in and out. This was done as a direct rivaling, I guess, to SUVs. Everybody wants these cars that are easier to get in, that sit higher. And so Audi was like, well, how can we make a sedan more SUV-like? Well, you pull the door handle, the car lifts up, you get in, and the car goes back down. That is a pretty crazy luxury car feature, and it kind of tells you what they're desperately trying to be up against in the battle against SUVs. Next up, number 12 craziest luxury car feature, I really like the Volkswagen Fayette climate control vents, which would remain closed unless you were using the climate control. So if you had the climate control off, the vents were just closed and it looked like one big piece of wood on your dashboard. It wasn't until you actually turned on the climate control that the covers over the vents would rise up and reveal the vents, and then they would blow air. And the cool thing was, if you had the car in automatic climate control, it would blow out air until it reached a certain temperature, and then the vents would automatically close again. That was high luxury for the Volkswagen Fayette. Okay, next up, number 11 greatest luxury car feature, the Bentley Flying Spur triangular screen thing. This is a feature in the new Flying Spur Continental GT. The center screen can completely be hidden. You push a button and it turns, and then it's showing gauges, and your dashboard looks far less screen-filled and far more like old world luxury with its wood trim. You can press the button again, and then even the gauges go away, and you have just like a full wood piece on your dashboard. So you can choose like how old school do you want your dashboard to look. Do you want like a modern screen there, or if that's too distracting and complicated, you just push the button and you can make the screen go away. That is a pretty cool feature. Next up, number 10 best luxury car feature. This one's gonna seem strange, but the Bugatti Chiron storage areas. Let me explain. The Bugatti Chiron, the ones that I tested recently, had like two different colors on the outside. The most recent one was dark blue and light blue. On the inside, a lot of the dark blue was into the interior, then the accent colors were light blue. Inside the storage compartments, you had the light blue accent color. So these are things you'll never see. Like the glove box, when you open it, had that color. The little door panel pockets had that color. These are things you're gonna see like once a month opening those items. But Bugatti still went to the trouble of making them the exterior color to match the other exterior color in the interior, because that's just what you do when you're charging that much money for a car. And that is a really nice piece of attention to detail. That is where serious luxury cars distinguish themselves from regular cars that just have sort of normal felt lining in these areas. Next up, number 9, craziest luxury car feature, that would be curtains. A lot of cars have sunshades that you can put over the window to like shade a little bit of the sun, but the Maybach 62 has curtains in the back. Same deal with the Rolls-Royce Phantom. You have curtains that you can actually close, and they are not like see-throughable curtains. They completely close, and then no one can see into your vehicle. And this allows you to do pretty much whatever you want in the back of your car while your chauffeur is driving you around. Full curtains for the rear compartment. That is when you know you're in a true luxury car, when you're surrounded by luxury curtains to keep the rest of the world out. Next up, number 8 best luxury car features, rear seat sun visors in the Aston Martin Lagonda and the Porsche 928. These cars had sun visors for the rear passengers. The Lagonda and the 928 were both intended to be very luxurious cars of their type, and so the Lagonda has a rear sunroof. You can't close like a sunshade like in most sunroofs. Instead, you have individual rear sun visors that close over the sunshade if you don't want the sun to come in from the shade. The 928 has more traditional like regular sun visors that come down from the rear to shield you from the sun if you're sitting in the back of that car. Rear seat sun visors. Seen a lot of stuff for rear seat passengers. Sun visors, pretty rare, but kind of interesting. Next up, number 7 craziest luxury car features. Speaking of rear seat passenger features, the Maybach 62 rear mirrors. This Maybach 62 I recently reviewed. The mirrors in most luxury cars come down from the ceiling, but this car had a sunroof there, so instead you had mirrors in these little pouches, and you could just pull them out, and they were Maybach branded, and then you could open them up and use these mirrors and then just kind of put them away when you were done. Imagine your car comes with individual, like detachable rear seat mirrors with the brand name of the car because it's that luxurious and nice. You have car branded mirrors. That is a pretty cool feature. Next up, number 6 best luxury car feature, that would be the Toyota Century tape recorder. The Toyota Century was designed to be used by Japanese business people sitting in the back and doing important business things. So there is a built-in tape recorder that you can use in case like a brilliant idea came to you while you were on the go and you wanted to record it for later, or if you were like dictating something that you wanted your assistant to write down or do, you could record it in your car and then give it to your assistant. Now, a lot of people could have simply brought with them a portable tape recorder, but the Toyota Century had one built in, so you could just hook up a microphone, press record, and then start recording, and then your assistant would just take the tape and go off and do whatever was necessary with it. A built-in rear seat tape recorder, that's a pretty nice luxury feature. And next up, now we're down to the top 5 luxury car features. Number 5, the Pagani Wire key shaped like a car. The Pagani Wire is a sports car more than it's a luxury car, but more than almost any other sports car of its ilk, it is tremendously luxurious. Unbelievable thought and attention to detail and craftsmanship in this car. And one of my favorite Pagani things is there is a literal key shaped like the Pagani, very heavy, feels very heavy and secure and expensive, and you pull off the front of it and then you stick it into the car and twist it, and that starts up the car. And then as you drive along, the key is facing the same direction as the car itself. So you're driving, the key is sitting right there next to you in the ignition facing forward, and it's just a ridiculous feature, but it's what they have. And next up, number 4 best luxury car feature, the Maybach 62 Intercom system. I love this feature. The intercom system is necessary because there is a partition between the front and rear seats. So if you're sitting in the back, you don't want the driver to hear your conversations, you put up the partition so they can't hear you. But let's say you still want to tell the driver, hey, stop over here. Hey, we're taking a different route, whatever. You can do that by using the intercom. You press the intercom button and then you can speak to the driver. However, Maybach knows that if you're sitting in the back, you don't want to be interrupted by the driver. And so the driver also has access to the intercom, but they have to press the button and then it rings in the back seat. And then you can choose whether or not you want to answer your driver's call. So if the driver wants to talk to you about something, it rings, you can say, you know what, I'm busy, screw you, I'm not taking this call. Or you can take it and actually talk to them. So there's an intercom system built in, and the rear passengers can use it at any time, but the driver has to ask permission. That is a feature you won't find on a normal car. And next up, number 3, craziest luxury car feature, that would be the lie flat seat in the Toyota Century and in the original Hyundai Equus. In these cars, a portion of the front seat could be removed and folded down so that rear seat passengers could lie down across the entire back seat and with their feet into the front seat so they could relax in the back of these cars. It seems like a ridiculous idea now. The driver would have to sit up there in one seat, and then on the other seat you'd have the rear passenger's feet. But it was a way to make the car kind of more luxurious and more relaxing without actually having to make the car longer, which obviously would have been a lot harder to do from a production perspective. So they just fold out the center of the seat and you can sit in the car and keep your feet out in front of you while you're being driven along by your chauffeur. And if you're sitting in the Toyota Century, you can also be recording stuff in your built-in tape recorder. And next up, down to the last 2 craziest luxury car features of any luxury car I've reviewed. Number 2 would be the Maybach S650 Cabriolet bags that say 1 of 300 on them. These bags come with the car. They have the Maybach logo. They are the same color and trim as the interior, and they literally say 1 of 300 because the car is 1 of 300. The bags are so gauche. They say how rare your car is on the bag. That is how you know you have a true luxury car, when your bag is telling people how luxurious your car is. That was a crazy luxury car feature. But to me, by far the number 1 craziest luxury car feature wasn't even a question when I was compiling this. It's a feature we all know, but it is the craziest, the Rolls-Royce Shooting Star Headliner. For years now, Rolls-Royce has offered a feature where you could get stars in your headliner. But in recent Rolls-Royces, you can actually have shooting stars occasionally going across the headliner. They're pretty rare. They only appear like every minute. But if you're looking for them, you will see them. And not only is a Starry Night headliner a crazy luxury car feature, but like occasional shooting stars is even crazier. And that's just an unbelievable luxury car feature. You're sitting there in the luxury of your Rolls-Royce, your seats are massaging you, the curtains are closed, you look up at the sky and you see a shooting star all within your car. It's insane. And that is the craziest luxury car feature that I personally have ever run across. So there you go. Those are my craziest luxury car features ever. I love reviewing luxury cars. I've reviewed an enormous amount of them. They all have some really crazy features, but these are the craziest. And truthfully, I look forward to reviewing luxury cars over the next years because even crazier stuff I have no doubt is coming. But so far, those are the craziest luxury car features I've ever seen.